Okay, right. So let's just go. Okay, so identifying customer needs. Last week we talked about generating the right kind of leads. We talked about avatars, and there might be between 3 and 5 for your particular value proposition. Going down, last week we talked about lead generation. Today we're in deal qualification. I call it qualification, and that's a really important point. Now, I am going to take a bit of a risk here by playing a short video. If you could give us a thumbs up just to indicate whether you can hear it or not.
Oh no.
Point was, what they thought they'd communicated was very different to what the other person thought they'd communicated, and this is about qualifying what's going to go on. That was kind of the point. I hope that wasn't too offensive, but I thought my British toilet sense of humour would that kind of appeal. The point is qualifying the opportunity. You need to understand what the opportunity is, and are we both on the same page? That's kind of the point here. In this part of the sales process, this might actually be the first time we've interacted. Because of social media, websites, etc., a lot of the time people will have done their research even before we get a chance to interact. So we could have lost the sale and never known anything about it. But here we are. So how do we qualify the sale, assuming we can actually engage with the customer? So there's my central point towards that video: is communication. Just because I say something. And I think I know what I mean. And I work with interns, young people, and people of different generations all the time. What I think is obvious to me in terms of communication, not always obvious to the other person, particularly if they've got different experiences, cultural or intellectual. And just because I've said it doesn't mean to say they've understood it. And the test is, can you find a way of getting them to kind of repeat back to you so that their understanding is the same as your understanding? And that's quite a complex human process. So communication happens when the other person sort of understands, be they a prospective customer or a direct report of yours, or even the chief executive of your company. Are you getting your message across? Now, this is all about communication, and salespeople or business people have to be good communicators. And whether you love him or loathe him, Donald Trump is a fantastic communicator. He communicates year 4 level. And some might argue that's where most of his demographic is, at that level of understanding. But the reason his messages resonate so much with his supporters is because he is able to articulate things in their language at their level. That's a kind of a toxic example, but the point being is that's his audience. That's who he's looking to motivate, mobilize, and all of those things. So the communications pie chart here, and as you might split into 3 different parts. The point I want you to really get from this is the words that I'm talking right now, only 7% are the words. So we shouldn't get too hung up on the words themselves. It's the feeling that we're looking to kind of transmit, which is really what we're all after. So can I just ask you if you're prepared to? Here's just a picture and no words at all. And I just want you to just shout out, what do you see in this picture? What are you interpreting?
The woman is inquisitive.
What makes you say that?
She's leaning forward, position as the chin, and the hand is looking as if she's proactive in wanting to get information.
And ready to write it down.
Pen in hand, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just any old pen either. It looks like it's a quality pen.
Yeah.
There.
She's leaning forward. I think she's looking to engage. She's trying to get eye contact. Her chin is raised, her head's at an angle.
Yeah.
So she's sort of I'm ready for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
If you're going with-
that's really.
If you're going with boys' humour.
You're right. You're right. The angle of the head. Not even a word has been said yet, but the sort of Socratic pose that's going on there. I'm ready to write notes. Now, where do you think the power is
With her.
What makes you say that, Tim?
Because he looks slightly laid back and as if he's having to be receptive. She's in sort of shirt sleeve order or blouse sleeve order, so she's really at the cold face, where he's sort of trying to look smarter, or he's not necessarily a doer where she's a doer. That's my view.
Yeah, I think those are great observations. What about the idea, you mentioned shirt sleeve or blouse sleeve order there, but the man in the image is wearing a jacket. What do you read into that, if anything at all?
I'm going to say that he was more sort of submissive, and he was uniform.
Yeah, I think this could be a job interview kind of thing going on. We haven't even got any words going on yet. We can't hear anything, and yet we can read lots into what's going on. Why is that relevant? I think it's extremely relevant because it's about building rapport, about building trust as a communication sort of instrument, if you like. The other little things I'm going to highlight here is next to her, you can see she's got quite a chunky watch on. That's the show, so the quality pen. She's also got what looks to be like an iPad or a tablet and a phone right next to her. She wants to be connected. There's a feeling of importance there. So the one thing you're not going to do with this woman, as you shouldn't anyway, is patronize. But you wouldn't be the first if you did, and I'll bet she's been through lots of that. So there's going to be a respect there for her position. She's important. She wants to be connected. She wants to know what's going on.
Keith, I'd also go on to say that having her hair scraped back as opposed to falling down, that because it's tied back, it's more business-like, but if it was down, it was more recreational.
So here's my point, going back to the previous Moravian diagram. 93% of all the communication that's going on between any of us is non-verbal, and that's why it's so important. Okay, so here's my thoughts when you're engaging with prospects, is by asking, how do we acquire information? We ask questions. In this image, she's ready, go on, ask me a question. It looks like that kind of thing is going on here. So in sales, what we're trying to do, nobody's going to buy anything unless they really need to buy something. So we try to identify pain, and sales will call that pain. Of course, it may not be physical pain, but it will be, profit and loss pain of some kind. We're trying to identify pain. And in identifying that pain, can we actually solve it? Because it might be we uncover something that actually we don't do that, and you're going to have to decide, do you want to explore that a bit more, or do you want to walk away? If we can solve their pain, can we actually delight them, or can we get a reference customer out of it? Is that a kind of thing that we can do? Can we thrill them? And also, can we monetize the problem? Only ever deliver two kinds of benefits. It's increased sales or decreased costs. That's all we can do, or a derivative of that. So we're going to try and monetize the problem that they've got, and in other words, take the pain and amplify it so that in their mind we can try and get a number on that. So in summary, we're going to build rapport and trust. That nothing happens unless they trust you, and you build rapport and trust by asking questions, intelligent questions, and not over talking. And the ideal ratio for questioning and answering is probably 25 to 33% talking, and about 75 to 66% listening. So they're telling you more, and ideally, if you get this right and you build trust, they're telling you stuff that they won't tell your competition because they trust you more. asking those high gain questions to get you to a point where you have more granular information. I didn't mention this, but taking a gift to the meeting, the way that you demonstrate that you're really valuable to your customer is that you can tell them something about their business, their organization, or the market that they're operating in that they don't already know. And identifying pain, really identifying that pain, getting some granular data around it and able to monetize that pain.